The wind screamed through the valley like a lonely ghost that night, tearing across the frozen plains and rattling the old wooden boards of Danielle. Clay's barn. It was one of those nights when the cold didn't just touch your skin. It sank into your bones, biting deep until even the strongest man felt small. Daniel had been out tending to the animals, muttering to himself about the worsening storm, when he heard it, a sound that didn't belong to the night. It wasn't the wind or the groaning wood. It was softer, fragile, almost swallowed by the storm itself. A cry. Frowning, he lifted his lantern higher, the golden flame flickering in the snow-whipped darkness. He took a cautious step forward, boots crunching over frost, and the sound came again, a faint whimper, weak but human.
"Hello?"
He called out, his voice swallowed by the wind. No answer came, only another broken sob. Daniel followed it to the far end of the barn, where the hay was piled high. And that's when he saw her. A woman, young, soaked through, and wearing what looked like a wedding dress that had seen better days. The fabric was torn, the lace caked with mud, and her hands were frozen stiff against her chest. Her lips were blue, and her eyes half open, staring at nothing. "Good Lord," Daniel whispered, dropping to his knees. He pressed his fingers to her neck. There was a pulse, weak but there. He shrugged off his coat and wrapped it around her trembling frame. Hey, don't you quit on me now," he murmured, rubbing her arms. She gasped faintly, the smallest breath of life fighting to stay. Without another thought, Daniel scooped her up in his arms. She weighed almost nothing, like a snowflake about to melt. The storm clawed at his face as he carried her out of the barn, across the yard and into his small cabin, where the fire still burned low in the hearth. He kicked the door shut behind him and laid her on the rug near the flames, tossing another log into the fire until it roared bright. "You're safe now," he whispered, covering her with blankets. Her skin was like ice. He poured a little warm water onto a cloth and wiped the frost from her face. She was beautiful, even under the bruises, the kind of fragile beauty that came from suffering, not vanity. Her eyelashes fluttered, and she whispered something he couldn't quite hear. He leaned closer. "What was that?" She swallowed hard, barely able to speak. "Don't let them find me." Then she went still again, unconscious but breathing. Daniel stared at her for a long time, the flickering firelight dancing across his weathered face. He didn't know who she was, or what she'd done to end up in his barn, dressed like a bride. But he knew one thing for certain. She'd been running from hell itself.